Surviving Reality contains explicit content full of snark and sarcasm that may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to Surviving Reality.
I'm Corey.
And I'm Carly, and this is the finale of Season 3 of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, the Book of Enlightenment.
Mixed reviews from the viewing audience so far in the Discord.
They felt like this episode ended abruptly.
And also on a very strange note. This is the scene that we're going to end up with to sum up the entirety of Season 3? That's what you're capping off with?
I feel like one of the big problems with this show, which has been consistent over the 3 seasons, is they end a season as if it's a mid-season finale. Like there's going to be a part B that's going to drop. But then that doesn't happen.
Too long of a gap in between for the seasons and stuff too. I think it's dropping all of the episodes at the same time too. This feels like it should be like a Love Island thing that's just like on a bunch, rapid succession.
Even the description for this episode is weird. A shocking intervention calls for both the hot seat and the Holy Ghost.
It's just written by AI. It's like, oh, this is like a religious thing? Okay.
Baby blessing? We don't know what that means.
I don't know what that is.
Put the Holy Ghost in there.
Yeah.
I don't know if MomTok knew much about the baby blessing. How did we go from Taylor earlier this season saying she didn't even think she would be open to dating a Mormon guy in the future, but we've got to do the baby blessing for baby Everclear?
Can you bring Everclear to a spiritual thing? Like, no, you can't. They're not going to let you do that.
Let's pick back up with Tina, who was busy trying to lie her way out of attempting to hook up with Dakota.
I just keep thinking of Napoleon Dynamite. When Tina, get your ham.
Tina, you fat piece of lard.
Tina, you fat lard.
We're going to have a lot of movie quotes in this episode. As you know, we are fed up with this season, so we'll see what we end up talking about.
Okay.
Do you think that Leanne and Tina are still friends?
No.
No?
No.
You really thought Leanne was upset, huh?
I think Leanne was personally wounded. Again, I thought it was going to be the complete opposite reaction. I thought that they were going to rally behind Dakota for real this time.
Yes. I thought it was some real bullshit when her parents, especially her dad, had a lot to say about Dakota and how shitty Dakota is.
And he's a narcissist, and that's what they do. And
yeah, remember when you were pushing your daughter to get back together with that narcissist because he was so great and she was the one who had all the problems?
So I'm kind of upset that Taylor didn't throw this in their face at all, because I sure as shit would have been.
Oh, I would have been pointing that out too.
Oh, yeah. I would have said, because really, if we rewind a little bit.
Or at least, can I get an apology for the horrific things you said to me at that family barbecue?
Yeah.
Was Tina there at the barbecue?
I don't think so.
No?
No.
I'm just wondering if we've ever seen her on camera.
I don't know.
Maybe we'll have to go to Taylor's baby shower. We're probably not going to do that. Someone else, if you want to take the time to. After 10 episodes of this, we're done till next season.
Oh, yeah.
Demi calls Whitney. It's her birthday. And she says, happy birthday, and then proceeds to talk all about herself and how she felt at the press tour.
I mean, that's the majority of it. It seems like, this is like the time to decompress after the press tour, but you're choosing to do that on Whitney's birthday? Not like, let's meet up, let's get dinner or something. Demi's just driving around town aimlessly. I don't know what she's doing. She looks stressed driving around.
I guess this is really weighing on her, huh?
It didn't go well, and I felt very ostracized from the group. Yeah, you think? Because you've become combative with every single person, and you keep, just from your post of calling everyone out for siding with an abuser, I think that's probably a big reason why there's a wedge right now.
Just want to talk about that anymore, though. Let's just squash it. I think it's time that we get everybody together and maybe we had a conversation about this so we can get past it, because I don't want to be on the outs anymore.
Well, I don't want to be on the outs anymore. We need to wrap this up because we're concluding another season of filming. We're wrapping soon, so we need to finish this out. And then also, I am in a position where I can no longer come up with any other angles to get out of this. I have no other way to spin this.
What else is there to say? They've kind of come to an impasse.
So Whitney is taking it upon herself to, yes, I'm going to facilitate a summit meeting of sorts.
MomTok intervention.
the MomTok.
MomTok on the Mount.
Something, yeah. So they're coming up with different ways, and she's teaming up with Mayci for this. So that way they have a neutral space and a neutral party to get everyone from MomTok together, and then everyone can say their piece. It's apologies all around. It's accountability all around. It's burying the hatchet, so to speak, for a lot of these relationships. And then Layla and Miranda are going to be there too.
It was giving Bring It On with the spirit stick, where they had Eve, which, did they name the doll Eve because of Adam and Eve?
I don't know.
Confess your sins as you have the doll. Nobody else can speak. They also had glow sticks.
They did not follow the rules, though, because there was plenty of times where Layla was talking, multiple instances where she did not have the doll.
So, yes.
I did not like that.
Let's rewind to when they first get there to meet Paul's Taylor aside to have a conversation with her outside. Personally, I felt like this was really calculated on Demi's part to approach the leader of the group, who has really the ability to sway everyone else.
Yeah.
And is ultimately the decision maker of who is in or out of MomTok, to go to her and issue her an apology first.
Personal apology. Well, and she owes her an extra one, too, because she was also pretty mean to Leanne at the Christmas party. Said some mean stuff.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
That was rough.
Leanne has bigger fish to fry right now, luckily. So I don't know that getting an apology from Demi is at the top of her list. I think she's looking for one from Tina first, probably.
Yeah, I don't think she's going to get one from Dina either.
I don't know. Did Demi watch the season back and feel embarrassed by her behavior?
No.
You doubt it? No.
No, I think that she realizes this was all played for storyline, which makes it grosser in a lot of ways. Of like the accusations that you're throwing around, the different things, like to go this route and have that be the conversations that took place for this entire season, to then bring it to the group and then just go, well, we all have our different opinions, and I guess we'll just kind of leave it at that.
You know what I'm really disliking about this season? Everybody who has bad behavior explains it away with some sort of trauma. Because we saw Jesse and Jordan talk about whether or not they're going to get back together now. They decide, yeah, we did our trial separation, but we're going to stay together and try to make it work. And Jordan talks about the trauma he has from being like a teen dad. And by some point, there was some mention of childhood trauma that they didn't really get into. And I understand trauma being something that shapes people. And absolutely, that's true. But I did not like that in this episode, multiple times we had someone who behaved badly and then said, but this is my traumatic experience and I think it's manifesting itself in this way.
To validate and excuse my bad behavior. So it's not taking accountability. It's placing blame on, oh, I have a reason that I'm acting out of turn like this. So yeah, it's kind of gross to weaponize therapy in that way.
Also, Demi's trauma is about her brother having Down syndrome. And she talked about, was it the glass child syndrome or something? So I'm assuming that that's when you have a sibling who requires a lot more attention, whether that be because they have a medical need or something similar, and that you get less attention because your parents just have to focus more on the child who needs more attention in certain ways. She just kind of glazed past that.
So it was, well, I mean, it's amazing how in an apology to her friends, she's still able to like dunk on her brother with Down syndrome too at the same time. So it's just like, maybe that's not the best angle to take. That's not a great approach to this conversation necessarily.
I was having a hard time understanding how that experience connected back to the way she behaved.
Because she was saying that it made her feel... Well, she was saying like it made her feel abandoned or like neglected by your friends, but like neglect is that's like a way bigger thing of the way that you responded to it too. I think like that was a little over the top.
I think the word that she used was she felt unworthy of friendships, which also Jordan said he felt unworthy of being loved. So there's some type of pattern here, at least within this friend group, or, maybe more broadly within the Mormon community, where people feel like they need to be focused on perfection. And then they feel very unworthy of different things in their life. Maybe we need to focus on that.
Well, and then, to stop excusing things away or pointing to something traumatic that happened as the reason for why you are lashing out at people around you.
One of the other things I struggled with this was we didn't see Demi go to therapy or like anything that would lead to her having some self-realization, which made it feel maybe less authentic when compared to a storyline like Michaela's.
Yeah, because everybody took their turns getting up in front of the group, so it was like one at a time, and then you had to break your glow stick
when you
necklace
said your piece.
When you said, you let your light shine when you're done talking, I guess. So it was like a one at a time going up in front of the group, and then kind of that was most people's taking accountability moments.
Yeah, Whitney talked about how she felt like she was really selfish. She cried a little bit.
It was like we listen and we don't judge, but then there were some people who were getting up where it was like, I'm judging a little bit too. Like I'm listening, but like there's some judgment going around. I think there were a few, like Jen Affleck. Demi wasn't impressed with Jen Affleck's performance here.
No, because she talked about being a people pleaser and having a victim mentality, but at no point did she offer an apology specifically to Demi.
I don't think that Jen needs to apologize to Demi.
I don't think so either.
Demi still needs to apologize to Jen from last season.
Where were all of the apologies for coming for Jen Affleck's marriage?
From last season and pushing her to a mentee be light where she needed to step away from filming for a while. Did we address that?
No,
Did we
nobody
talk about
said a word about that, actually.
We didn't bring that up. We didn't mention that.
Demi gets up there and she apologizes for overreacting and being harsh in the way that she spoke to people. It was a little too brief, in my opinion.
Brief and vague. Yeah, like there was not a lot of direct connection to that. And then she does kind of gloss over, there was some other trauma stuff that I'm not really willing to share with you guys, and it's some vulnerability stuff. And she was still being cagey about like the reasons for things too, but then being like, trust me, bro. And it's like, well, that's the issue here. We don't trust you. So to base everything off of that, of how we're going to forgive you and move on, of trusting you, I think trustworthiness is what's lacking here.
Yeah, and nobody's really being that honest in this conversation, because if you felt like Jen didn't say something that you needed to hear her say, why didn't you bring it up in that moment?
Because they weren't allowed to, I think.
I was just abiding by the rules.
At least for like that first one. I think the first one was, if you get up there, it's just you're saying your piece, and then we break it into the group. And then you sit down.
More of a conversation.
So then the conversation came later, but it was still going to be speaking one at a time, allegedly, if you had the doll.
Yeah, but Jen is the one who speaks up and says something.
Yes.
Not the other way around, because Demi, after Jen gave her speech, was expecting an apology. The apology that she wanted was that she felt like Jen had lied about Marciano last season, even though Jen never said anything. Remember?
Well, Demi was already trying to discredit Jen before she even said anything.
Yeah.
Like that was what was going on.
How quickly we've all forgotten.
Well, and I think Demi didn't bring that up with Jen because she didn't want to be seen as combative, because this is all for show. This is optics. She is being mindful of what she's doing and how she's calculated her route back into this group. And so she doesn't want to ruin this opportunity here.
Now they move on to the doll, and Taylor asks Demi to tell her side of things about what happened with Marciano, because they've all heard Jesse's side of the story, Marciano's side of things. They've heard a little bit of what Demi has had to say, but she's got the floor. And her explanation of it is that Marciano came on strong to her and that she never reciprocated anything to him. Yes, she texted him. No, she never kissed him. And she was sexually assaulted by him.
So why didn't we bring up the lie detector test again? Why did you make me sit through the first 5 episodes of this season if we're going to pretend like it didn't happen?
I still want to know, if you were sexually assaulted by Marciano, why were you so excited to out Jesse for having an affair with him?
Right, because that's a really, really strange reason to say, oh, I was placating Marciano to get information out of him about the affair with Jesse.
So that I could then use it against my friend to make her look bad.
Like, that doesn't sound good at all. There's no good way to spin that.
Well, this is just what I think happened. Because she mentioned not wanting to talk about it publicly and trying to excuse away some of the stuff she did during the season with that. Did she latch on to what Jesse did to try to make that become the public conversation so that anything between her and Marciano was minimized or forgotten? Doesn't matter because they just end this with, we'll never know.
Yeah, to have Taylor swoop in and just go, well, I guess this is resolved. No, it's not, because you're just saying agree to disagree and we'll never know. And the only people who do know are going to be Jesse, Marciano, and Demi, and we'll just leave it at that.
And that's after Jen Affleck speaks up and says, I'm still really confused. I'm actually more confused now than I was coming into this conversation.
Yes, because every single time Demi tries to deflect and get out of this, it's just muddying the waters even further. It's just making it more confusing. It makes less and less sense the more information Demi gives up, because she keeps trying to spin a different story where she's not doing horrible things, where that is what's happening. She keeps doing horrible things. I didn't like that they were trying to spin up this whole like Demi versus Jen sort of dynamic, which that would probably be for the next season.
Right, because that felt unresolved.
That was very unresolved. And where like Jen was making it clear that she's not comfortable with where things are. She's not comfortable being around Demi.
But then everyone else is, even Jesse, who's talking about how betrayed she felt that Demi was the safe space for her within this group because they were such good friends. And then she felt like she tried to throw her under the bus publicly, and they let this greasy man come between them.
This is like Plathville apologies, where it's you get one kind of vague general apology adjacent thing that happens in conversation, and enough people in that group then say, well, that's resolved. Moving on, forgive and forget, leave it behind, don't bring it up ever again. And then there are still people in the group who are like, that was not satisfactory for me. That did not meet my standards to completely put this to rest. And so, no, I'm not done talking about it. We're not counting this as resolved and moving on as if nothing's ever happened between us.
That's going to be extremely aggravating if this continues to be brought up next season.
Like,
it'll be like 3 years since it happened.
I was going to say, at this point too, it's basically like we're reigniting. It was Demi versus Jen last season in season 2. And we didn't really get to see that play out this season because both of them were not filming for the better part of the season. So is that something that they're just teeing up for next season, where it seems like Jen's holding on to that? She's not ready to let Demi slide on all of this shit.
No, they give an apology to Demi for victim shaming, that they didn't believe her. Although it's still unclear whether the group does or does not believe her. Like you said, they just left it at, we'll never know. It's going to be a big mystery.
I don't think that's enough. I don't think that's okay. And that's not a good spot to land for the show either, because then you're still leaving it up to the audience to reach their own conclusions based on this stuff.
Which feels gross from Hulu's perspective, that they promoted 2 shows that they wanted people to watch, this show and Vanderpump Villa, and then made an entire storyline around somebody being sexually assaulted by another cast member.
Well, Hulu didn't. Demi did.
And then Hulu filmed it and then aired it and then has made it a public conversation for people to, made it a mystery in the end as to what did or didn't happen.
This feels like, this whole show, it feels like this was an attempt to be Real Housewives of Hulu Disney Plus, right?
Yes, yeah.
But this feels like it's an entire generation of people who grew up watching Housewives And then now they can't tell real life from the storyline. Like these are people who...
Well, they're also influencers. And I would say they also don't understand how to separate real life from what it is work for them. So it's all just a mishmash of all of this stuff, combining the show, what they do on TikTok, and their real life. The thing that really turned me off was at the end of the conversation, Demi goes, "I'm sorry for anything on my end." And then she throws her hands up in the air.
Yeah, like if I missed anybody's, direct address of something that upset you, sorry, overall general blanket apology just to cover that.
It was like very flippant.
Yeah, and like...
Where then I doubted the sincerity of it.
Yeah, not authentic.
Yeah.
Right, that's what gets called into question here is the authenticity.
So we leave the group with Demi and Jesse hugging and making up. It came across that maybe things between Demi and Jen are not good. And then everyone's kind of okay with Whitney again, except for Michaela's baby.
Except for Michaela's baby. Yeah, because like Michaela was even kind of okay with Whitney by the end of this, because there is realizations here of what's going on. I think they would probably benefit to stay just business associates here and not really focus on the friendship aspects. Doesn't seem like that's going to line up as well.
Want to shift back to the Dakota story?
Oh boy, yeah.
Dakota and Taylor. So Taylor went to mediation for custody of Everclear because suddenly she's realized that's something they should do now that there's no getting back together.
Well, it's better late than never, I suppose, to figure that out. But then also, it is very teen mom to go ahead and do that after he's cheated on you again or, done some shady shit. And now, as a way to get back at him, we're going to go ahead and lock in what this agreement should look like. Yeah, what that's going to be.
The thing that got me, it was in that conversation, she's talking to her mom, and she goes, "This isn't about me and you," meaning her and Dakota. "It's about my mom's friend."
It's not for the benefit of the kid.
I thought she was going to say, "It's about Ever."
No. No, this is about you being a sleazeball.
He is guilty because he has stopped filming. And also he's, I guess, gone MIA because they're supposed to have this baby blessing, which would probably be pretty awkward for him to attend.
Yeah, especially if Tina's invited still.
I don't think she is.
I don't think she's
I think her invitation got lost in the mail.
Yeah, it's not happening.
But to have this blessing, he has to give his permission, both of the parents do, and he ends up never giving it. Yet they still go through with holding this party. Oh,
man. Well, with Dakota not filming, is Dad Talk going to survive this? I guess that's the question now.
So what is this? It's a baby something. It's not a baby blessing anymore.
Sprinkle, I think, is what it's called.
Sprinkle. It's really just an opportunity for everybody to get together again. Demi shows up because she's back in MomTok now.
Everything's good now. Yeah, everybody's all happy. We're all back together.
They make a TikTok.
So it's official.
Just one big happy family. Then we cut to Taylor at the end of the season meeting with Chase. So Chase is Miranda's ex-husband. This is who was involved in the swinging scandal originally.
This is what blew it up. Yeah, because Chase is the guy who caught feelings for Taylor as part of the soft swinging setup.
Yes. They need to remind us of that when they bring these characters in who we rarely see.
Well, this is big, yeah, because then they're sitting down, they're having a nice chat about, how's your relationship going? And Taylor's like, not good. It's pretty bad, actually. Never getting back together with Dakota ever again. Again, yeah.
Oh, that's funny because my girlfriend and I actually just broke up.
Yeah, like less than a week ago, so...
Pretty fresh.
This is a cool date then for the two of us to try things out here. Was this just Taylor hoping that Dakota sees this at some point and gets jealous?
I think so.
Like that's the sole reason for this.
Well, we know Chase has been on his apology tour where he's been talking to everyone. So at the beginning of this, he did apologize for the Halloween party in season 2.
Well, that's what I thought. We already did that at the Pride thing. Like he came up to Taylor and had apologized for that. So this is like a repeat apology. This is like
he just keeps apologizing.
He forgot who he'd worked his list of everyone in MomTok, and he wasn't sure if he had Taylor covered yet.
Well, finally, it was like, this is why they've been continually pointing out every time he's shown up at a party. Because all season, I've been like, who cares if Layla is sleeping with his brother? Why do they keep talking about it? And now we know they're building to this being the finale. That is this supposed to be a will they, won't they between Taylor and Chase when we know Taylor's going to be the next Bachelorette?
Yeah, is this a way to announce that Chase is going to be one of the contestants on The Bachelorette, one of the potential suitors here?
They didn't even talk about that.
No.
I bet you they're going to save it for the reunion. Do we think there'll be a tell-all?
I don't know.
I don't want to hear them talk about all this stuff again.
I really don't.
So I could do without one. Let's just skip that this season. This whole thing was weird. They talk about that day that he said something to her about having feelings for her. It gets a little flirty. They're talking about stuff that they did in the shower together. So I do very much think this is a let's get back at Dakota.
Well, and then also Chase is agreeing that what Dakota did was pretty fucked up. And it's like, well, if Chase says it was fucked up, then that's pretty fucked up.
That's the end of the season.
It was a weird culmination of like, this is how you ended out the entire season. Like it felt very disjointed.
And it was hard to feel like there's any reason to be invested in where this is going to go when we know that she's going on a dating show.
Yeah, like it doesn't make any sense of where they left it for an interest perspective. Yeah, it doesn't line up with anything that we know that's actually happening.
Apparently, they've already started filming season 4, so we know there's going to be another season coming. I don't know how they're doing that simultaneously with Taylor filming The Bachelorette, unless she's missing or not part of the season at all.
Which, I mean, we only had a couple episodes where she wasn't involved at the beginning of this season. Yeah, is it like they were soft launching those other storylines a little bit? Like they were trying to see, can we get by without Whitney? The answer's no.
And she's still filming Dancing with the Stars as we're speaking.
Right.
So she's maybe going to be missing from at least the first few episodes of season 4.
Or they'll have cameras there for like her and Jen's experience as it's happening there, or dad talk stuff with the adventures of Zach and Connor.
But then how are we going to have this conflict between Demi and Jen be a main focal point if Jen is busy filming Dancing with the Stars?
Right.
So are they just going to forget that for part of the season? A lot of questions about what season 4 will look like.
Well, it's also things that I don't think that the producers have really worked out either. They just kind of...
They're making this up on the fly.
They're winging it. Yeah. And whatever comes together for an episode, that's what's going out.
I need more Whitney next season, though.
I think I'm done after this. I think I'm done.
You need to turn your brain off for a good year until they bring this back again. Let us know what you thought about this season and what you're hoping to see next, if you want to watch the next one at all.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. See you next time.